Monsieur le secrétaire perpétuel, chers collègues, mesdames et messieurs, c'est à la suite de la dissolution de l'association internationale sans but lucratif ASSIS, Association pour la sécurité des systèmes de santé, qu'a été fondé un prix international destiné à récompenser un progrès substantiel dans le développement de la sécurité des systèmes d'information de santé en Europe. Ce prix est attribué à un chercheur d'un pays membre de l'Union européenne. Le jury du prix ASSIS 2012 était international et composé des professeurs Adelin Albert, rapporteur, qui n'a malheureusement pas pu venir aujourd'hui, et m'a demandé de le remplacer, de l'Université de Liège, Benoît Deban de Genève, Patrice de Goulet de Paris, Georges de Maure de Gand, Francis Roger France, Université de Louvain, Bruxelles, et Lakram Yora Stoïkou Tivadar de Timisoara, représentante de l'EFMI, qui est la Fédération européenne d'informatique médicale dont la MIM fait partie pour la Belgique. Et ce jury a attribué le prix au professeur Gunnar Klein. Gunnar Klein est âgé de 58 ans et de nationalité suédoise. Il est titulaire d'un baccalauréat en mathématiques et en informatique en 1973 de l'Université d'Uppsala et d'un diplôme de médecine en 1980 à l'Université de Stockholm. Il a aussi fait une thèse de doctorat en 1982 au Karolinska Institute intitulée The In Vivo Role of Natural Killer Cells, a Genetic Analysis. Il est l'auteur d'un très grand nombre de publications en recherche biomédicale et en informatique de santé, et actuellement, il est professeur d'informatique médicale à l'université de Trondheim en Norvège. Les travaux de Gunnar Klein en informatique médicale se sont inscrits dans la durée. Il a en effet vécu les étapes de l'informatisation progressive des activités des soins de santé et du développement du dossier médical informatisé. Il a été aidé en cela par sa double formation en informatique mathématique et en médecine. Dès le début, cependant, il a perçu l'importance des problèmes de sécurité et de confidentialité des données médicales informatisées et il s'est efforcé d'y apporter des solutions pragmatiques et durables. En particulier, il s'est attaqué à l'identification et à l'authentification des acteurs de la santé dans des réseaux automatisés de soins, aux méthodes de gestion des clés publiques et des clés privées, aux échanges sécurisés des informations médicales entre partenaires de soins, grâce à la pseudonymisation des données. Dans les années 80, il a déjà dirigé un groupe technique dans son pays pour développer les cartes d'identité électroniques basées sur les techniques d'encryptage RSA, qui deviendront un standard en Suède et plus tard un standard européen, voire mondial ISO-IEC. Ces travaux consacrés aux smart cards ont eu un impact majeur sur l'acceptabilité de ce type de support électronique dans les soins de santé, notamment pour le stockage et la portabilité des données médicales en toute confiance. Au sein de la communauté européenne, Gunnar Klein a participé durant sa période de 1990 à 2000 à de nombreux programmes de recherche et développement de la Commission européenne, portant notamment sur les infrastructures des clés publiques et les modes de signature électronique, mais aussi sur le respect légal et sur les aspects légaux associés à la signature électronique des documents. En 1997, il a repris la présidence du CNTC 251, Comité européen de normalisation, comité technique Health Informatics, dont il dirigea aussi le groupe de travail 6 sur la sécurité des systèmes de santé en Europe. Il a donc contribué à l'élaboration et à la consolidation des standards européens et ISO en matière de communication d'informations dans le domaine des soins de santé, et ce, de façon durable. La publication de ces standards ont davantage fait l'objet de rapports techniques que de publications scientifiques publiées dans des revues internationales. Considérant que le professeur Gunnar Klein a, par ses travaux et ses recherches, contribué de façon originale à la sécurité des systèmes d'information de santé en Europe, qu'il a en outre œuvré une carrière entière à cet idéal, l'Académie royale de médecine de Belgique lui décerne aujourd'hui le prix ASSIS 2012. Congratulations, Gunnar, and now the word is to you.
Monsieur le Président, Monsieur le Secrétaire perpétuel, chers Mesdames et Messieurs, c'est pour moi un grand honneur de recevoir ce premier prix européen de sécurité de l'information et soins de santé. Merci beaucoup. Même si je comprends bien le français et parle un peu, je vais continuer en anglais. Excusez-moi. So I will take this opportunity to make a few reflections over the last 20 years of work in this field and a few words on the present state of affairs. Privacy and security of health information is, of course, a major concern for clinicians and the patients. And I have had the privilege of working together in Europe and later internationally with many excellent experts with various professional backgrounds from various countries, and not least from Belgium. And perhaps I could mention in particular the laboratory of Professor Georges de Moor in Ghent, where we have had many excellent collaborations. And I want to thank all my collaborators for the achievements we have made together, which, and I wouldn't be here today unless we'd had a very good spirit of cooperation in this field. Let me just mention one other person that has been sort of a mentor to me in the early days of European work in security standards. This is Dr. Stellan Bengtsson from Uppsala, who was an active clinician, university professor, past chairman of the European Federation of Medical Informatics. He was an important inspiration, always struggling for patient privacy and yet acknowledging the new possibilities with technologies and the need for technical security measures. Let me also take this opportunity to call in general for clinician involvement, not only in the field of information security, but in the whole field of ICT for health, which we often call e-health these days. I'm a bit disappointed to note that today it seems that there are fewer active clinicians interested in working actively in this field than 30 years ago, despite the major activities in this field where ICT is so instrumental for modern health. So if you in the academy could help me engaging more physicians in this field, I think it's important. But of course, we need the cooperation between the academic informatics researchers and technical standardization, also industrial suppliers and governments. And I have been fortunate during these 20 years to work with all of these and sometimes being an employee of all of these different types of organizations also. I'm not a pure academic, I should say. I think it's needed. And a few words on what do we mean by security. Many are thinking about privacy issues. In international work, security is often abbreviated as CIA. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality is, of course, that only those authorized should have the possibility to read sensitive personal information, for instance, from patient records. And this has been at the heart of the medical profession since at least Hippocrates a long time ago. And several technical and organizational measures are necessary to protect confidentiality. One issue which is particularly challenging and where our work has been important is that today we want to communicate in healthcare, certainly within the region, between different types of organizations, within a country, and within Europe. To some extent also internationally, but not so much for the individual patient. And to do this, we need these type of modern security measures to protect confidentiality, not only while the data is communicating, but also to ensure who is the recipient and who is the sender. Integrity is the aspect of making sure that medical documents, such as prescriptions, for instance, or electronic records, have not been tampered with, that they are actually written by the person who appears to be the issuer and not changed. And this was an issue which not so many people were working with actually 20 years ago, when computers were restricted to one site. But when we started to communicate, this became much more important to have legally valid electronic documents. And in this sense, the new security techniques were enabling us to move from signed documents with ink on paper to electronic communication, which is extremely important. So both of these about challenges with confidentiality and integrity have important solutions which depends on as Professor Rochefort said, cryptographic techniques and often the use of smart cards carried by health professionals. And I've been very fortunate to be part of this development where we started very much as European R&D collaboration supported by the European Commission. This moved into European standards and later to international standards. And much of the work we did in collaboration with other sectors are actually also used for all sorts of fields of society. And some of these standards that became ISO standards are now translated into Chinese and Japanese and used even there, as in Brazil, Australia, and the US. And this is indeed very rewarding. But still, after 18 years, sort of after we actually solved it theoretically, we can see that in many parts of healthcare in Europe, these techniques are not used. And the possibilities to communicate across border are actually quite limited for some rather bad reasons. I would say that the national implementations for security and secure identification have not been properly harmonized and cooperative. But a new initiative from the European Commission actually this summer is promising to reveal this with a more stronger European legislation. So finally, I'm rather confident now that this will happen shortly, so we can all communicate securely for the protection of patients. And the most important thing with these techniques is not that we can protect misuse, I think, but it's that it enables us to actually communicate for the care of the patient and to provide a better healthcare system. Thank you.
Congratulations, Dr. Klein, and thank you for your comments. Please.